So
We don't
are you on your
see
phone?
I'm on my laptop.
Okay, at the bottom of the screen on your laptop, maybe if you put your cursor there somewhere, you may look up and there's some other thing, controls may pop up. And one of them should say show picture or something, or it'll say mute, unmute. That's what you're looking for. And one of them should say show picture or something, or it'll say.
My bad.
Denise, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do you see Nana?
No.
Do you see her in the waiting room or anything?
She's on here. It's black.
Yeah.
Tashia, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we just can't see you.
I know. I don't know what's going on. Let me call Rose and see if she can come down and figure it out.
Sometimes your phone might be easier, believe it or not.
All right. Let me call Rose. I'm here,
Okay.
though. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everybody that's on so far on here and on Facebook Live. We will start in just a couple of minutes.
I can't share it.
Are you on the? Did you go to the chamber page?
Yeah, I'm on there now. I see the video, but I don't see nowhere to share it.
Okay, well, I'm about to do the same thing, so we shall see.
On my phone, it has
like normal. At the bottom, like normal. Are you on your phone?
No.
Hi, Gwen.
Rose, I'm calling you. Come by the office real quick. I can't get the Zoom to work. Okay.
Are you on your phone?
No.
Hi, Gwen.
Rose, I'm calling you. Come by the office real quick. I can't get the Zoom to work. Okay.
Are you on your phone?
No, I found it.
Rose, I'm calling you. Come by the office real quick. I can't get the Zoom to work. Okay.
Are you on your phone?
No, I found it.
Rose, I'm calling you. Come by the office real quick. I can't get the Zoom.
Hey, Felicia, can you lower the volume of the live on your phone or wherever it's on? Because I think it's doing that echo.
I was there.
Felicia, can you lower the volume of
Just
the live?
Felicia, just mute your phone. The other thing, the live thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then you hear it double time. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody on Facebook Live. Okay, so everybody, we're still waiting on Shira. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna wait one more minute and then we're gonna get started. Did everybody have a good weekend? Anything interesting while at home? Yeah.
Nothing exciting.
Well,
I need some excitement.
No, my car got battered by hail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was about that big.
Exciting.
that storm last night was.
I need some excitement. I heard it.
My car got battered by hail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was about that big.
Exciting.
That storm last night was.
I need some excitement. I heard it. What is the echo?
There's a pretty serious delay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, somebody has the Facebook up.
There's a pretty serious.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, somebody has the Facebook up. Okay. Felicia, it's you because I just muted you. Daryl, you're muted.
Felicia told you to turn that thing off.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Shanita, I see that you're on Facebook Live, but not on the Zoom. Oh, no, Shanita, just kidding. You are right here. Don't pay attention to me. Tashia, are you good?
I'm here.
Okay, we can hear you. And I'm asking you to start your video, so it might ask you to accept it. It's still black screen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and then if by the time we get to you, it hasn't been fixed, then we can see what we can do, or we can schedule you for another time.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to our weekly The State of Your Business webinar. My name is Denise. I'm the Membership Services Director with the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. And I really appreciate you all following us on this journey of virtual webinars during this time. And so today we are actually going to be highlighting some of our businesses in our community. We're starting to do that every week with our webinar. So if you are interested in highlighting or featuring your business, or if you know of a business that would benefit from being featured, there is a form that's on our Facebook that I've been putting out. As you just fill out this form, and then that's how you're signing up to be featured. Then I'll get in contact with you, and then we can work out the dates and the specifics. So keep that in mind. A couple of updates from the chamber. Our newsletter will be coming out sometime next week for our monthly newsletter, along with our weekly updates. So if you're not already subscribed to that, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter and our mailing list. Our mailing email list, sorry. We're also having our first virtual new member orientation tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 o'clock. It's gonna be on Zoom. So I will be hosting that tomorrow. So if you are a new member, or not particularly a new member, but you never got around to coming to your new member orientation, feel free to register. You do need to register for this meeting, just so that I can have a head count and have your information. So yeah, if you want to do that. We also have that on our Facebook, and it's been emailed out to you all. But I will, again, email that out and put it on Facebook today, so that could be more updated. All right, so we're going to start with Shanita Hishaw. Hello and welcome. Shanita Hishaw is from Legal Shield Business Solutions. And give me 1 second, and I'll give her the spotlight. There you go.
Hi, everyone. I am Shanita Hishaw, and I am elated to be here. So thank you, Daryl and Denise, for allowing us to come on and have this time. I won't be before you long, so I'm going to share my screen really quickly so I can give you a quick rundown of what I do and then how you can reach me.
You didn't tell me, so I know y'all did. So.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a picture of our beautiful building. Legal Shield is in Ada, Oklahoma. So I'm just going to start out by telling you our vision, which is to provide equal access to the liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that everyone deserves and everyone should expect, because it should be a right that everyone has. We know sometimes that the legal industry prices us out. And so that's why we're here, to keep you from having that issue and give you access to your liberties and justice as you deserve. So who we are, Legal Shield is not new. We've been around for a while, as long as I've been around. So 48 years ago, Legal Shield was started. We have over 4 million members in our system across the United States and in Canada. We have a network of law firms in each state and each province. So when you have a question, you have an attorney to call. There's no stressing or guessing, which takes me to what we do. We remove all of that from you so that you don't have to worry about who should I call. I need an attorney for this and for that. I don't have a retainer to pay for both. You can have access to all of the attorneys in every area of law whenever you need it, on call. And what makes us revolutionary right now is we have an app that'll be on your phone. So whenever you have your phone, you'll have access to your firm. You can call right from the app. You can start documents in the app. There's so much that you can do right there in the app. And that is what makes us really innovative at this time. Also, it helps you to be more proactive and preventive instead of being reactive when something happens and defensive if someone is suing you. What I mean by that is you can call your attorney and ask questions prior to something becoming bigger than it needs to be. You can call them and ask them how to navigate through this COVID. You can ask them how to navigate through employee issues or through expansion issues, or have them review documents on your behalf. There's so much that you can do as part of being a member of this network without having to pay per hour. And that's what we're here for. We protect and empower both small businesses and families and individuals. So if you have a family and you need to get documents in place like your will done or updated, or if you have a teenager or someone in your family that drives like a teenager and you have speeding tickets that you're trying to keep the points off of your record, we also have attorneys that can handle those areas of law for the family. For the small business and the family, we can combine those packages together for you. And then we also not only have legal access, we have identity monitoring and restoration. And that's what differentiates us the most with our identity monitoring is, one, we monitor more than credit. And I know people are so used to saying, I have bad credit, I have credit monitoring through my bank. If something happens with your medical ID, your taxes go to someone else or anything like that, your credit card company is not going to go on your behalf like we will. And we have licensed private investigators to do that. So in the end, I just want to say our community needs you. You are the small business, which is the backbone of this community. I'm happy to answer your questions. Take a picture of the screen. Here's my information on how to reach me. I also have access to a COVID-19 resource that I'll send out to you. It's updated daily so that the things that we're finding as trends are available to you to answer the frequently asked questions that our attorneys are getting. So I'm happy to provide that to anyone on the call. And that's all I have right now, Denise. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was great. Thank you for joining us today, Shanita.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you later.
I have a question.
Right. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
I thought he was waiting.
I'm so sorry. Yes. Anybody have any questions for Shanita?
So I know
on our Facebook Live or on the chat.
I know as a salesperson, people don't like to talk about money, but everybody wants to know. So
how much is it?
So, hold on. For a business under 20 people, let's say, and a family of 4 or less, what are we talking about?
So if you have, our business plans are broken down by whether or not, first of all, you have a storefront or you're a home-based business. If you're a home-based business, then you can add a supplement to your family and identity theft plans for just an additional $10. So for the total, you would pay $59.90 because it's $24.95 for the legal plan for family or individual, is $24.95 for the identity monitoring for families, and then it's an additional $9.95 for the home-based business supplement. If you have a business with employees, or even if you don't have employees, but you have a storefront where you need additional protection, we have 3 plans, small business 10, 50, and 100. And so That is what determines the number of employees that it will cover. You can always go up, but you can't go down. So a business with 100 employees could not have the small business 10. Does that make sense? And so those are priced at $39, $89, and $149. So even at the 100, that would be
3 to 5 minutes. Okay. I just want to get a quick ballpark because I know people are going to ask. We don't have to, be in the super detail. So appreciate that. Go ahead, Denise.
All right. Well, thank you for that question, Daryl. It was definitely very informative. Thank you, Shanika, for your time.
You're welcome.
Business Shield. And good luck with everything. It'll definitely let me know if I can be of further assistance in whatever.
Certainly. Thank you very much, both of you.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right. So next we have Tashia Ramsey from Nana's Kitchen. She will be sharing a little bit more about her business. And okay. To go, Tashia?
I'm here.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nana. I own Nana's Kitchen up on 74 White Road in Fort Worth. A little bit about what we do. We try to service the community with comfort food. We're open 6 days a week every year. We've been doing some outreach in the evening time when we close, feeding some of the apartment complexes with whatever food we have left over in the evening times. Feeding a couple of motels in the area because what we found is that, there is a lack of nutritious meals in the evening time for the kids that aren't in school. Did you have any other questions for me, Daryl?
I want you to tell us about your business. Tell us what you cook, how you cook. You got 3 minutes to tell us the world about your business.
Well, it's not going to take me 3 minutes, but basically we specialize in soul food. We stay pretty busy. We feed a homeless population Monday through Friday. We also open, like I said, to the community with hot, nutritious meals Tuesday through Sunday. We also have a small banquet area that we most of the time loan out for community meetings, tutoring sessions for the kids, what have you. With this COVID-19 going on, it has caused us to have to close our dining room for a while. Things are pretty much on track for us. We're working on the PPP. Hopefully we're in line to get some type of funds. We've been working closely with our city council with that. In the meantime, we're just feeding. Our doors are open. We're an essential part of the food chain, and so we are continuing to work. If anybody's hungry, they can call us 817-653-7078. Place an order, drive up and pick it up. We still do allow you to come in and look at the menu board and place your order and go back and have a seat in your car and we'll bring it out to you. So we're here on Sundays all day, here on Saturdays all day. So if you're hungry for some good soul food, come and see us.
Let me ask you, because now you're not. So what are y'all standards? What do you have like every day? The meat items you have every day.
Okay, every day. We've changed our menu up a little bit just to make sure that we're getting, as much traffic as we possibly can. We fry catfish, whole or fillets every day. We hand punch all of our French fries here and make all of our in-house salads. We have meatloaf, baked chicken, smothered pork chops, fried pork chops every day, chicken fried steak and chicken fried chicken every day. We have anything from cabbage to greens, to green beans, macaroni and cheese, squash. What else do we have? You name it, sweet potatoes. I mean, we've got all the fixings.
Don't you do something special on Sunday or something like that?
Oh, on Sundays it turns into Thanksgiving. So on Sundays we run smothered turkey wings, we run oxtails. We just add to the list. We run chicken and waffles. We have started this new salad kit. A lot of people are eating a lot, but they're wanting to be healthy. So we're running huge shrimp salads. We're running catfish nugget salads. We're running fried or grilled chicken salads. They're all the rave. Everybody loves the salads. So we pretty much have in-house baker. We have all of our cakes are scratch cakes, strawberry, pineapple, old-fashioned 7-Up, chocolate on chocolate. We also have German chocolate. That's an old favorite. So we're here every day.
And tell us again about where you're located.
We're located at 74. Yeah, we're located on the east side, 7403 John T. White Road. And that's at the intersection of Sandy Lane and John T. White next to the Lucky 7. We've been here since 2018. And we don't plan on going anywhere, even though this is a lean time. Things are changing, day to day with government and the executive orders. Right now, we're running. We intend to continue to run, and we are just wanting to service the families in need in any way that we can.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tashia. So that's Tashia Ramsey from Nana's Kitchen. Make sure to get some great food. Oh, Tasha. Oh, I'm so sorry. From Nana's Kitchen. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Okay, thank you guys so much for having me, and you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Coming to see you.
Thanks, Daryl. Bye-bye.
All right, so that concludes our business highlight for today. Like I mentioned before, if you are interested in being highlighted, make sure to fill out the form that's on Facebook, and you can have a feature on one of our weekly webinars. Again, just a recap that it will be on Facebook. And if you are looking for more resources for your business, this is going to be the next portion. Every week for our webinar, we have resources for your businesses that include like loans that are coming out, all those technicalities and all the different policies that are being put on every week. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to my coworker, Daryl, for this portion, and then I will get with y'all at the end.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Daryl Brewer, the Economic Development Manager for the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. If you would mute everyone, because we have a lot of bad background noise. Awesome. Okay, I think that's much better. Super. So today, as many of you may know, that the SBA, the funding for the PPP and the loans, et cetera, they ran out of money really almost as soon as it was released. And so just this past Friday, new money was authorized by Congress and signed by the president, and it went into effect, as far as I know, this yesterday on Monday. So we have a representative from, who represents the SBA, Mr. Rodney Johnson. He's the director of the SBDC here in Fort Worth. And we want to welcome Rodney. He's going to update you on any changes, et cetera, and what you need to know about those loans for the SBA. Hey, Rodney?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Denise, for allowing me to once again join you so we can talk about what's going on with the SBA and some of the funding that is available. And I am with the Small Business Development Center of Tarrant County, and my center, along with my advisors, we're in place and in position to help you, the small business owner, navigate your way through in these days through the maze known as the Small Business Administration Loan Program. So as you know, or maybe have heard, there are a few loan products that have been pushed out there by the SBA. There's a Paycheck Protection Program. There's an Economic Injury Disaster Loan. There's Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant. There is a Bridge Express Loan. And so all of those, with the exception of the Bridge Express, they expired earlier last week because they ran, I'm sorry, it was actually the week before, they ran out of funding. They had put in $350 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program, and prior to that going into place, they had put another $50 billion in for the EIDL. Well, they happened to run out of money approximately about the same time, and they stopped accepting applications. Effective Thursday of last week, we received word that funding had been reapproved, and that the funding that was approved was another $290 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program, $60 additional billion for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, another $75 billion to help service hospitals, and another $30 billion to help additional testing. And then finally, there was another $30 billion that was set aside for what's known as rural and small lenders or small banks. And so we're still waiting on clarity and exactly what it is that they were looking for regarding what it is that they're specifying with the rural and small lenders. But here's one of the statistics that have come out from what we know about the first round of funding. And that is that even though there have been a lot of large banks that was been involved in the process, the larger banks seem to have struggled more with the entire process. They either weren't quite efficient or they weren't quite as effective, but it was really the small banks who were very efficient, very streamlined, very hands-on with their clients, very, very much capable to help hold their customers' hands as they collect all of the data that was needed in order to upload into the SBA system. So therefore, an overwhelmingly number of loans that actually were processed by small banks, small institutions. So if you are working with a current small institution, I continue to encourage you to continue to work with that. Wherever you're at in the process, if you started with the Bank of America, or if you started with a Chase, or if you started with something else, you know, stick with that process. This is a system that is first in, first out. That's known as FIFO. And in the FIFO system, what happens is that there really should not be a whole lot of picking and choosing. You pick this bank's loans over that bank's loans. It should get processed in a sequential way. And that sequential way should be equivalent to the way those loans were received into the SBA computer systems. So with that being said, I will tell you this. We are hearing and we have record that even right here in Tarrant County, that there were quite a few loans that people are literally starting to see the money starting to show up in their account. And I'm talking about funds from the second loan, not so much, and there were quite a few loans from the first loan, but loans from the second loan is starting to show up. And the reason I think we're able to start seeing that is because those individuals continued the process even after they received the word that the funding had run out, but that more funding was on the way. So with that being said, I want to encourage you that if you are still looking or struggling to find a lender, somebody who is willing to take on your loan or take on your applications, whether it is for, and by the way, should be for PPP, then feel free to contact our office, because we are able to connect you directly with lenders who are actively and anxious to work with you to take your application. Just because they are a small bank versus a large bank, there are no additional fees associated. There are no difference in the fees associated. So the way this is all constructed, there's no different advantage to go into a Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo than it is for you to go with smaller institutions, okay? So with that being said, I just want to encourage you to do a couple of things. Number one, the only way to apply for a PPP loan is you have got to go through some type of a lending institution. You've got to go through a bank or credit union or some other agency that has been approved by the federal government. The economic injury disaster loan, the only way to get that loan is you must go to the SBA website. There's not a third party, there's not a bank, there's not another entity that can help you get that loan. You must process your loan by going to the SBA website portal. The third thing is that the only way to get the grant, and the grant is, the EIDL grant is a single button at the end of the EIDL application that asks, are you interested in the grant? What the grant is $1,000 for every employee that you have, up to $10,000. That does not have to be repaid. If you're awarded the grant, if the intentions behind the grant is to give you some tie-over money, some layover money, while they consider the bulk of your application, they want you to have something to hold on to so that they can continue the process. Now, I need to go back to PPP, and then Daryl, if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to take them. But I do want to share with you a couple of things. One, for the PPP, number one, make sure that you understand one very, very important date. If you are fortunate enough to get a PPP loan, know the date that that loan was originated. That would be the date that you received papers back from the SBA, and you had to sign those dates. That is known as the loan origination date. The reason that is important is because the clock starts ticking on that date. 8 weeks from that day is when your reevaluation will take place. And if you have the same number of employees on the 8 weeks after your loan origination date, if those two numbers match up, then that is the amount of your loan that will be forgiven. If there are two different numbers, say for instance, if it is higher, you will not be forgiven for more debt than what that loan was for. But say for instance, it is significantly lower. Let's just say 50% lower. Then your forgiveness will be reduced by that 50%. And the remaining 50% will turn into a loan that you will have to repay at a rate of 1% for a maximum term of 2 years. So make sure you understand when the clock starts to ticking on your loan. Finally, I want to read this here, which really just came out. I want to highlight, and maybe I shouldn't read it, but I want to highlight this. I won't read it, I'll highlight it. If you are able to get a loan, whether it is a PPP loan or an EIDL loan, make sure you use those funds exclusively for the services of your business and primarily for your payroll if it's a PPP, up to 75, no, it must be 75% of that loan must go towards payroll. If you violate that, then they will ask you to repay, and there's a possibility they will ask you to repay it with interest. You do not want to get into a discussion with the IRS regarding how you utilize those funds. Best practices tell you that if you get those funds, that you should make sure that they stay in a separate account, that you maintain separate books or separate accounting on those books so that there's an itemized list of activities of what took place with that account. It won't happen today, it won't happen tomorrow, but at some point in the future, someone from the federal government is subject to ask you, how did you spend those funds? And the best answers you can give them is from a clean, concise, well-manicured, well-organized set of records that have been meticulously kept so that you can maintain all of the funds that they gave you and not have to pay anything back in the form of penalties or in the form of interest. You will have really negated all of your efforts. So Daryl, with that, I hope that that was helpful and beneficial. You have any questions, let me know. More than happy to make myself available.
Rodney, I appreciate that. Thank you. I know you only have about 5 more minutes with us. Is there anything that has changed regarding the process?
They have not put it like this here. As far as EIDL, there's nothing of significance that has changed. As far as the PPP, there is nothing of significance that has changed.
Okay.
One thing that we don't understand yet, and that is that there's an additional $30 billion out there set aside for rural and small lenders, and that may be some attempt to make sure that it is targeted towards minority communities or smaller urban community or rural communities. So we're looking for the answers to come back as to how they plan to disperse those particular funds, those very targeted funds. And if they are, in fact, very targeted funds, then we need to have another conversation as to how you can get targeted funds. But we don't have that answer yet.
Okay, we're happy to have you back on when you have the answer to that. I know you only got 2 or 3 more minutes. So Denise, we have any questions?
Yes, we have one question on our Facebook Live from Chantel Billy Brown. This person asked, what about credit approval for the loans? Maybe I think they may ask for like the range of what the credit.
Okay, so the government. Okay, so here was the part of the criteria that we were able to find out, and that is that they actually reduced it to where they had 2 criteria. One was they wanted to make sure you had the capacity to repay the loan should it go into loan, meaning was your business somewhat profitable? Were you making money? And if that's the case, then you should be in a position to make money. If your business was losing money and had been losing money for a year before this whole coronavirus came up, then they're more than likely not going to accept your application. But say, for instance, you were profitable, then they would consider that. The second thing they would take into consideration would be your credit. Now, one of the sessions that I was in spoke to the fact that they had reduced the typical FICO score so low because they wanted to make sure that over 90% of the small businesses qualified. And the number that I was given is that if you had a FICO score, below 500, say for instance, below 490 or somewhere in that range, below that, then you might, it may have been 460. If your credit score is below 460, you might not be eligible. But they wanted to make sure the majority of small businesses were eligible. And so that's why they lowered the credit rating number so that the majority of small businesses would be eligible.
Okay, awesome. Felicia's going to talk more about business credit and personal credit and being prepared to apply for the loan. So I know we'll get into that in just a bit. Denise?
Yeah, we have a couple more.
Tell you, if you have any more, I apologize, Felicia. If you have any more specific questions, feel free to reach out to the Tarrant SBDC. Go to our website, tarrantsbdc.org. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Denise.
Are you getting out of here?
I have one more of these I've got to do, and it's not it's not optional. It is mandatory.
Oh, that's okay. We appreciate you being here with us today.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Denise, so what we'll do, I'll introduce our next panelist, and she may be able to answer the question, especially if it relates to credit, business credit, personal credit, applying for the loan, because she has helped businesses go through the process and she has helped them receive money from the federal government, and her own personal business has received a loan from the government. So she can talk about it personally and by helping someone else. And her name is Felicia Jefferies. She's the owner of More Financial Services, and she's going to talk to us about the do's and the don'ts of getting prepared to get your loan and get your loan approved. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor over to Felicia. Welcome, Felicia.
Hey, 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 how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Good.
being
I'm glad to be here today. Thank you so much for having me on. So I did some research before I came on because, of course, I want the people to have the most accurate information that they can have at this point in time, because they are constantly changing laws and they're constantly issuing executive orders. So at this point in time, I don't want to regurgitate what the gentleman from the SBDC said. I am going to emphasize some points and show you all a website that you could go to in order to get some assistance. So with that being said,
Hold up, I got a question.
yes.
Is this going to be helping people go through the loan process for the SBA and that process, or you give me some alternatives?
Well, I am going to specifically talk about the PPP loan process, and I'm also going to talk about the EIDL process, and I'm going to discuss some credits that are available.
Okay, you kind of threw me out for a second. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
No, just you.
Okay, let me go back and do this correctly. There we go. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a little black bar here at the top that no one else can see, but I can see it, and so it's kind of in the way of my bar. But I'm on the Treasury's website, the Treasury Department of the government. They have some valuable information on here for people who have been affected by COVID-19 and for business owners who have been affected. So I want to start out by talking about the application. Before President Trump signed the order for the funding to go into place, the second round of funding, I was telling business owners, get your applications filled out so that you can go ahead and take them to the banks, because the money is coming. If you have not filled out the application and you want to know where to get the application from, go to this website, home.treasury.gov. You are going to scroll down. Okay, let me show you where it says. This is where you need to go. The CARES Act provides assistance to small businesses. You're going to scroll down. You will not do the application for borrowers. You will want to scroll down and do the application for lenders. Now, this second bullet, lender application form, is the one you'll click on if you are doing business with a regular bank. The third bullet, pardon me, is for credit unions. So I'm going to click on this application. This is the correct application that you will need. You will fill this application out. Do not sign the part that says lender certification. They're going to ask you basically about your background if you've been convicted of felonies, you must check off on all of these, okay? If they'll tell you, if the answer is no, for example, in this second section, the loan cannot be approved. So if you have a felony or your background, in most situations, then you probably have problems obtaining funding through the PPP. Now go back and you'll get to see the application if you're a member of a credit union. This is the application that you will print out and take to your credit union. Now, I'm going to scroll down. Actually, I'm going to go back. There's another section on this website that talks about preserving jobs for American industry. I want to talk about that because a lot of business owners who have LLCs or corporations, you may not realize it, but you are actually an employee of your company. You may qualify for certain credits under the CARES Act preservation of jobs. Now, this right here discusses those credits. I encourage all my clients, whenever I work with them, get an accountant. You have to have someone that you work with that's a CPA, that's experienced with doing business taxes to help you with this. This is something that you'll want to look into. Now, when it talks about employers of all sizes that face closure orders, now I want you all to think about this. The barbers, the cosmetologists, the nail techs, the masseuses, you will want to look into this. This is something that will benefit you greatly. Now, if you want to know, you go to the Treasury's website, and I'll scroll back one more time. If you want to take notes of this, this is preserving jobs for American industry. There's an employee retention credit. Now you may say, I don't have any employees. Again, a lot of you are employees for your business. If you have an LLC or a corporation, hopefully you have it set up to where you're working for your company. If not, talk to your accountant and see if there is something that can be done so that you can take advantage of this credit for yourself. Now, if you have employees, other employees, you'll also want to look into this. Next, I'm going to go to assistance for small businesses. This is where it talks about the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, what happened, President Trump signed a bill for an extra $484 billion to go into this program. Therefore, please don't waste your time getting your applications in. Now, this is where I showed you the lender applications at the onset. Also, a lot of you are wondering, what about the economic injury disaster loan? That is something totally different from the PPP. Now, I'm going to go to that website. This is on the SBA's website. Now, if you notice, they do not have that portal open right now. So all of the applications that were put in before they announced the funding ran out, those applications are constantly being worked. They're going to provide further information on when they will receive new applications. So please check back constantly, because once they open this portal back up, you won't want to waste any time in applying for this money. Now, those of you who are in doubt about applying for the PPP, keep in mind, this is for sole proprietors. This is for independent contractors. This is for small businesses. That's why the money ran out the last time. There's a wide array of people who can obtain the PPP funding. Now, I know I've heard some people say, well, I didn't pay taxes. Last year I didn't file my taxes. I've had that situation come up with some clients of mine, and this was my advice. Go ahead and file your taxes. Turn in your application, go ahead and file your taxes. They had money in their account approximately 2.5 to 3 weeks after that. So it's a pretty simple process, pretty cut and dry. Now, as far as your business structure is concerned, I'm going to unshare. As far as your business structure is concerned, you want to make sure if you have an LLC or a corporation, do your best to make sure that you have your business established to where they can tell, okay, this over here is not a sole proprietorship. This is actually an LLC. They're running it like an LLC. A lot of you don't know how to check to see if you have business credit established. The way you do that is you can go to nav.com. You put in your business's information. It will tell you if you have a business credit profile. It's helpful to know what the lenders will see before you turn in your application. Also, I mentioned this the last time. I'm going to share my screen again. Make sure your business is active. And what I mean by active, not that you're actively engaged in making money. That's not what I mean by active. What I mean by active is this. If you have an LLC or a corporation, you want to make sure that you are up to date on your franchise taxes. If not, your business is forfeited. If you've gone over a year filing the franchise tax report, your business is forfeited. You'll want to go to your comptroller's website. In this case, I'll go to Texas. You'll go to taxes, franchise tax, search account status, online search. In this example, I'm going to use my own business.
Our time is drawing close.
So what you do is you go to details. Yes, sir. And as you can see where the account status right here is active. Pardon me. If your business is not active with the state, it will say voluntarily forfeited and you would not want to apply for a loan with your business being voluntarily forfeited, please check your personal credit, check your business credit, because they are going to check that if you have an LLC or a corporation. Now, if you're a sole proprietor or independent contractor, they don't have a need to check your business credit. That's if you have an LLC or a corporation. I hope that that was helpful for you all. If you want to reach my company, and if you want assistance with any of this process, please give us a call at 888-387-1117. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felicia.
You're welcome.
So Denise, do we have any questions?
We do not. I think the ones that were on the Facebook Live, you've answered those. They were just asking about the EIDL loan, which I think Daryl got to them. And we do not, we have a couple on here from Doris Benjamin. They said, how may or what percentage got paycheck loan in Tarrant County? Are there any safeguards in place to ensure it's a fair process?
Well, I don't know that we have the answer to the percentages, but what Rodney says is that there is a FIFO method, which means first in, first out. And I think Felicia's also saying, hey, look, get your applications in. And that puts you in line. Once you have a completed application, I think you get your confirmation number. But you may not get a confirmation number if, for instance, you don't have your paperwork squared away, such as if you're an LLC or a corporation and you didn't file that franchise tax letter thingamajig. So it is a fair process from the standpoint of first in and first out. The problem happened was that a lot of the big banks, because it was such an influx of people, they took care of their current customers first, their premium Class A customers first. And then they didn't open it up to the outside or to the smaller customers until later on. The other thing is, as writing has been published, actually, the small community banks, they did a better job on this particular situation because you could go to them and they were holding your hand through the process to ensure you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed so that your application could go in and not get rejected because of a technicality. So hope that answers your question. Any other questions, Denise?
No, that was it.
Okay, and just, I don't know, Felicia, just can you write quick, in maybe a minute or so? I just need some do's and don'ts, some clear do's and don'ts when you're trying to apply, when you trying to get a loan. Just some clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Make sure that you do and don't do, that sort of thing.
Okay, sure. The first thing I notice is that people think too much and they'll talk themselves out during the application period. Don't talk yourself out of it. If your business has been affected, go ahead and print out the paperwork and fill out the application. Don't turn in that application without knowing your business's status. All it takes is a quick check with the comptroller and you'll be able to see. Don't not have a bank account. You need a bank account. Some people are like, oh, I got PayPal, I got Cash App. You have to have a bank account. Like, this is how they're going to deposit the money into your bank. Don't say, okay, I'm going to form an LLC right quick and try to get money that way. No. If you've been operating as a sole proprietor or independent contractor, that's how you need to apply for your money. If you want to form an LLC, you can do that, but they want the business to have been in operation at least by February 15th forward. So the time in business does not matter. They have waived that. If you've been in business for 3 months prior to COVID-19, go ahead and apply. The main thing I see is people procrastinate and they miss out. So that's the most important thing. Please don't procrastinate.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I know someone who was turned down for one thing and they thought it was because she wasn't in business long enough. So you're saying even if you've been in business less than a year, say you've been in business for 6 months, so that means 3 or 4 months before COVID-19 pandemic hit, you saying that you feel like they're still eligible to receive a loan?
Well, that's what's in the act, that they have waived that criteria for businesses to have been in business for a year. That's not necessary.
Okay. Well, with that, if we don't have any other questions, Denise?
All right. Well, I just wanted to go ahead.
So if we don't have any other questions, Denise, I want to thank Felicia for again coming out and participating. Want to thank Rodney Johnson for coming on. We appreciate you, the information you're giving to our community. And if you have anyone out there, if you have questions, you can certainly email me at dbrewer@fwmbcc.org. That's dbrewer@fwmbcc.org. My phone number at the office is 817-871-6558. 817-871-6558. Again, we thank you for tuning in, and I'm gonna hand it back to Denise to close us out.
Thank you. Felicia, yeah? Do you have a question?
Okay, so somebody was asking about numbers. They have some numbers of businesses in different regions and cities and states on the Treasury's website. So their report is there, and it has exactly how much they borrowed and all of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us again today. Just to recap on the businesses that we highlighted earlier, it was Nana's Kitchen and it's Legal Shield Business Solutions. If you are interested in being highlighted in one of our weekly webinars, make sure to fill out the form that's on our Facebook, and it's been emailed out. So if you are not part of our mailing list, make sure to subscribe to our newsletters. We send out weekly and monthly newsletters with business resources for COVID-19, among other things like bids and upcoming events and webinars and things like that. So make sure to check out our website. We also have a COVID-19 page with the business resources that we talk about on these webinars, and a blog that is a little bit more up to date on day-to-day changes. So make sure to check that out. Check out our newsletter. If you are not already following us on social media, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our social media handle is FW Black Chamber. It's FW Black Chamber. And tomorrow we will be having our new member orientation. So if you are a new member or you've joined in the past and you weren't able to make a new member orientation, please join us tomorrow. I will be hosting that at 3 o'clock. We'll be going over the chamber, the benefits being part of the chamber, your membership, and how to use your online portal. So if you need any help with that, if you're already a member but you have no idea that you even had an online member portal, well, join us tomorrow, and I'll make sure that you know how to work around that and be able to be more hands-on with your membership. So thank you again. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Daryl, for being here. And we'll see y'all again next Tuesday at 3 o'clock right here.
Bye-bye.
Y'all have a good day. Goodbye.
Twins. We got polka dots on.
We are twins. Where were you at, Daryl?
I didn't get the memo.
Bye, y'all.
Right. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.